Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Literally a guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin still lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to PSGL Season 35, round number 5, as we head to the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix. A few changes here tonight, which we'll go through in a minute, including one championship leader not in the picture now, which makes the championship a little bit wide open. My name is Jess Ball. Sorry I wasn't here last week. I wasn't feeling too well, but I am back. And joining me in the commentary box once again, doing a stellar job leading the commentary booth last week, is Mr. James Head. James, how you doing?
Doing really well, Jess. First of all, thank you very much to everyone that tuned in last week to Las Vegas. Byron did a fantastic job in your absence, Jess, and he really brought about a sense of real analysis, I think, last week as well. So full credit to Byron, of course, for filming for you last week, but you're back. We want the roles of PSF1 back with us. We have got the roles of PSF1 back with us, and I cannot wait to see what the drivers have in store in Austria. PSF2's anything to go by, win for a treat.
Yeah, there was battles 3 wide, 4 wide in F2 if you're watching that, but F1 is definitely the place to be. But as I was saying about Las Vegas, what happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. There were a lot of stewards reports last week. Tom kept the win from last week. A stellar job from him to pick up his first win of the season. But there were a lot of changes behind him, weren't they, James?
There were indeed, yeah. 4 penalties and a disqualification and a race ban to come from last week as well in Las Vegas. So we'll get to the easy ones first. The 3-second penalties and the 5-second penalties. Sammy Chemsey had a 5-second penalty. He finished well down the field in the end. I'm just trying to see what that 5-second penalty was for. It was for causing a collision with Aurelian on lap 3 out of turn 14. And ended up rear-ending Aurelian through that and causing them to spin. 3-second penalties wise, we had Erpek pick up a minus 3-second penalty, so he got his 3-second penalty removed. Keke the same, Keke in the end finishing in 5th, Erpek there finishing in 8th. Benza having a 3-second penalty added to his time. Didn't actually matter in terms of the race result. Tom, of course, picking up that race win. Volokongan, in fact, inheriting in 2nd. Benza there finishing in 3rd. Still a very consistent run for him. If you're wondering why Benza picked up his 3-second penalty, I'm just trying to find that once again, and I don't seem to have got that. There it is. 2 license points to Benza and 3 seconds added to his final race time. That was for causing a collision. Lap 25, final lap of the race, turns 14 to 15. What did that do to the championship? Well, Max leads the way, but the big important factor is he's only 3 points clear, but he's in PCF2 now. So Max leading the way on 34 points. Erpek now inherits the technical race lead and the championship lead on 31 points. But then you've got Benza, Aurelian, Nando, all covered by 3 points in behind. Volokongan and Louis Valentine, who's missing out with his race ban. Next week it'll be his race ban if he attends. Tom, and then Markadors. And we were saying just before we came live, Jess, Erpek all the way down to Markadors. If you factor out Max, 15 points covering 8 drivers going into the 5th round of the season. As Jess has been on mute, I think.
Yes, I was on mute. Sorry, apologies. I was saying something for like 3 minutes and that didn't work. But yeah, it makes the championship very interesting with the likes of Erpek leading it. Of course, Erpek taking his first win. It was in the 2nd round of the season. Benza just missed out on the win last week. He took pole in Las Vegas. He likes his pole positions, but not able to take the win. But maybe he can do tonight as well. Obviously, we know what Markados can do as well. He just missed out on the title last season. Volokongan was the one who benefited from the penalties last week. Nando picked up a win in Hungary, again benefiting from a penalty. Aurelian showing that he could be consistent, and that's what we're seeing as consistency is key. And we can't wait to see what everyone can do. Few changes on the grids to tonight, full time. So Sam is no longer in PSGL at all, as in Sammy Chemsey. He's been replaced by OP Wiener full time. He's back in the league, so welcome back to him. And then we've got a replacement for Max, and it is Cameron Dowles, who's going to be replacing Max full-time in PSF1. So, because obviously they were at the top of the reserve list, whoever gets top of the reserve list, well, they get the first to get the seat. So, Cameron, I can't wait to see what he can do. Obviously, we see Cameron's dad in the chat, so I'm sure we're going to have some fans of Cameron in the chat, that's for sure. But I can't see an AlphaTauri now. I don't know who's in the second AlphaTauri because it's blank on my screen. So apologies if you could see that, but hopefully that's the game not glitching or anything. But we're about to get underway, and luckily, dry qualifying for now.
For now, yeah, it is OP Benza, by the way, in the second AlphaTauri. If he's in position 4, he's the first one out on track. So Benza is that first man out on track. Might be just a bit of a spectator glitch there on your end, but Benza is the first man out on track. He'll be getting going very soon indeed in terms of a lap time. Of course, he's had 3 second places around here, around in the last 2 rounds of the championship, in fact. One, of course, for round 3 in Hungary, and then again last week in Las Vegas. So he's got really good form coming into tonight, potentially the 4-man coming into tonight. Jensen there asking in the chat, is Cam racing tonight? Yes, he's a full-time driver now in AlphaTauri. He is out there on track. And I have even made the bold prediction off air that Cameron Dowd will win here tonight. So no pressure, Cam.
Yeah, no pressure. And if he doesn't win, then it's going to be James's fault. So this is a track which was first used back in the 1970s, as we watch Benza now heading towards the MotoGP chicane turn number 2. I don't call it turn number 2, it's really a kink, but that's what MotoGP would like to call it. And now heading towards turn 3, we've seen people can go around the inside if they're lucky, or maybe even around the outside for some cheeky moves. Turn number 4 is where we saw Lewis Hamilton and Albon collide. Sergio Perez has collided with a Mercedes quite a few times as well with George Russell. It seems to be Red Bull versus Mercedes around that corner, doesn't it? Past 5, heading in towards turn number 6. Even though this track is very easy according to the game, it could be very, very tricky to get your car fully planted to get the moves in. Pass in towards turn 8 now, down the bridge, past the pit lane, which the drivers have been told to keep an eye on tonight because the apex is just so close to the pit entry line. And now past turn 9 in towards turn 10. Final corner he goes, and it's a 103.541. And I can't remember what was the pole time in PSF2.
I do not remember that either. I wasn't actually at the end of qualifying for F2 for that one either. So we'll get you back on that one because this is went on top. Wiener there in second. Big returning factor from him. He's of course an Austrian driver, so he is at his home track quite literally. So Wiener there second. Francesco now going second. My by the way, was from a back. He spun. Coming through the final couple of corners at turns 9 and 10, he was looking very good up until that point. Bolakonga now going quickest, Cazzizzle there in second, Francesco in third. Jensen did mention a 1-2-3 for Shizou. Well, there you've got it. Tom, Bolakonga and Cazzizzle 1-2-3, and Cameron Dowd's now making it Shizou 1-2-3-4. You'd almost think this is Legacy Division, but it's not. Tom out on top, Aurelian in second, Bolakonga there in third. Very good laps coming in, as is a lap time potentially from OP Stefano on the run to the line. He goes into 6th position, 103.3. But look at how close it is, Jess. Tom all the way down to Nando, covered by 0.4 of a second, and we've got top 15 drivers separated by that.
So we got Shizou, F7R, OP, another F7R, then 2 Shizous, then OP, then Shizou once again. You could tell it's a team with a tier with a lot of esports teams. They have the passion and the drive to get to the next stage and to be into esports one day as well. Obviously, we had the esports race a couple of weeks ago, so they're all striving to be in challenges for that as well. And Austria's a track where it does provide close racing and qualifying, and it's a track where it doesn't necessarily mean qualifying is important. We did see before penalties, the likes of Tom go from last to first. So that puts pressure on Borat, really. I'm keeping an eye on him to potentially win this race. You said it would potentially be Cameron's to lose. I think it'll be more Burak's to lose, but I might be wrong, as they all are going to enter into the pit lane as well. Keke has done well in the past in F2, I believe, last season. And just trying to remember some other people as well. Stefano, of course, F7R Stefano. Obviously, we've got Corey, who's reserving tonight in at the Alpine, replacing Louis Valentin, I believe, because obviously he's not here, and he's done quite well in the past in his many tiers that he's taken part in PSGL history. But Tom out on top, Irene in second, Ryder down in third. I'm excited to see how this qualifying session will have to offer, because it's all purple set to 1 currently. Then we got already in purple set to 2, and Erpek, apparently on my screen, is purple set to 3, but I think that's just a spectator glitch my end.
Yeah, potentially so. If it is that case, though, we've got 3 drivers fastest 3. First sector, it's Mubarak has nearly hit a Mercedes. Coming out of the pit lane, coming out of turn number 1, Mubarak is not a happy bunny right now. He complained on Twitter a little bit earlier on. I'm not sure if people might have seen this, but Mubarak was off PlayStation since Thursday, and this is his first day back, and you can tell he's really struggling with that lack of practice, with that lack of verve almost that he's got. Mubarak normally consistent, really on the limit there, coming out of turn number 1, but absolutely nearly went into the side of a Mercedes, and I think that Mercedes actually was Tom coming out of the pit lane, so did not want to do that to the man currently sitting in pole position right now. But it is Tom out on top, already there in second, Rotterdam in third as it stands. Outlaps are beginning once again. Looks like a Williams is going to be the first to embark onto another lap. And that Williams, of course, is Enelor Marlon as he now comes through the final corner. Let's run on board with the German, and a German-speaking country, of course, here in Austria. On the run up the hill in towards the right-hander turn of 1 at the louder curve. And then runs wide, actually, coming to the louder curve. So negates a little bit of time through there. Running up now the hill through turn number 2 and in towards my favourite sequence of corners on this track, turns 3 and 4, and a 16 flat through the first sector for Marlon. Not consistent, and again, just catching that outside curve coming through turn number 3, just losing little bits of time here and there. On the run now down into my favourite pronunciation on this track, Schlossgold at turn number 4 for Marlon as we now come on through turn number 4. But it's looked a very decent lap so far for Marlon. Everyone else just gone up on their runs. Tom, Aurelian, Radadel still the top 3, but Marlon the first on his run. His middle sector split, Jess, is a 44.2, so he's actually found time in that middle sector. As you're on mute again.
And he's found a lot of time in that middle sector, and someone's just locked up in the pit entry there as well, but they're just probably trying to get some heat into their tyres.
No.
I couldn't tell if that was an invalidation or not, but he goes up to the line and he stays 12. So yeah, it was invalid.
Yeah, would have been fourth. Would have been fourth in the end. Would have been a very good lap if it was just consistent. He ran wide coming out of turn number 9, and that set him off balance coming through turn number 10. You do not want to be off balance coming through that corner. Ben's are now going quickest than Tom. Running there in third, Rotterdam in fourth. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody in the lap. Volokongan's looking quick. The Shazoo man now coming through the final corner. In 6th position right now, improving 10th of a second to the line. Doesn't actually go quickest, goes third. It's a bit of a shock. Loses a bit of time in that final sector, but Ben to Tom. Volokongan the top 3, and now Cameron Dowd splitting the pair. And look at the top 3, 4,000ths of a second covering the top 3.
That is absolutely insane. I'm just looking at the first sectors. It's a make or break sector for some of these guys, because we only got like a few drivers in the 15s with the likes of Benza, Tom, we got Volokongan in there as well, and Nando goes to the top of the timing sheet, and he's like, if anything you could do, I could do better, and I won't be surprised if we could sneak into the 102s, but maybe not, give or take as well. But I think he really got to be in the 159s, 115.8s in Sector 1 in order to get pole position. Sector 2 can make or break as well, but I think we see a lot more people in the 28.3s, 28.2s. Haven't seen many people in the 28.1s. The only person in the 28.1s is currently sitting in P8 right now. That's Aurelian, but hasn't been able to hook up in the final sector as Erpek, our current championship leader out of the ones here tonight, 103.1. That is a stellar lap time, and I'm just looking at the sector times now. He's not fastest in any sector right now. He's just consistent.
Yeah, you've got to be consistent, though, around this track, and Erpek is definitely consistent. Was on the podium around here, of course, in F2 last season, beaten by Keke, and Keke there's all the way down in 18th position, so Erpek definitely right in the wrongs from Austria last season in F2, and now coming alive once again here in F1. Ron, by the way, was mentioned in the chat. It was a 0.129 for F2 pole position. We were about 500ths of a second off that right now with Erpek. I don't think there's anybody on a lap right now, unless there is. Royderdal looks like he is on one. The OP man in the Haas now coming to the left-hand of turn number 6, and he is on one because he's 100th up through that middle sector. We'll see what Royderdal is setting. He needs to ideally be a 44-1 in that middle sector to try and find a bit of time, but he can find time though coming through turns 9 and 10, a little bit off centre though through 9, then through the right hand of turn number 10, gets it hooked up very nicely indeed, not like Marlon running wide through there, right out to the line, goes quickest, finds that time, big lap from the OP man, and the Haas man now goes quickest, Erpek in second, Nando in third, and it's that age-old battle that we've got here in PlayStation right now, OP against F7R at the top of the standings.
Yep, they've had a history in many leagues, not just this one as well. So I think this is going to get intense between those two teams as well. Obviously, they had a history last season, and they're going to have a history this season as well. We've got many people out of kilter now doing their main laps now, so we'll see what last week's race winner can do. Thomas, he's about to set up on his lap time, but we'll see what I think, because he's always in the middle of his lap. So let's go on board with him. Pass in towards turn 7. He looked very comfortable in the first sector. He got blocked a little bit from the Aston Martin, and he's invalidated his lap. So scrap that from Kazizel. He unfortunately is not going to improve. So I think Tom will be next, heading towards turn number 2, as he's going to get a bit of a slipstream from another Aston Martin, believe it or not, in towards turn number 3. But he seems very he's a few 100ths down on his previous best, so he's not looking too comfortable right now, but he always loses that time in the middle sector. He needs to get, I think, about a few hundredths to even be within, I think, touching distance of pole position, and that's how close it is in PSGL PSF1 currently on PlayStation. Pass in towards turn 6 now. We'll see what his middle sector is in just a moment. As you can see, the hills were alive here in Austria tonight. Yeah, he's not improving at all, is he, James? He's just lacking confidence currently on his first lap. So I wonder if he's saving his best for the final lap, unless he puts in a very good final sector. Heading towards the final corner. Is this going to be a final sector of dreams?
Oh, yeah.
He's found time in that final sector, but what could have been for him? I think that could have been pole if he improved in the first 2 sectors.
Yeah, Tom is a specialist of Austria. He's won many a time around here, of course. He won last season before he got his penalty, remember, from 20th on the grid, finishing first out on track, but because he got a 5-second penalty for hitting Yossi off track, he finished in third in the end, and it was Louis Valentin that took that race win from Sami Chemsi in the end in second. But Tom there is right there. Kazizel, by the way, you might have went off on board with his lap. He actually went across the line, and he would have went second with his run. It was a 164, but Benzers just came in with a 103 flat. And ignore what I've just said about Kazizel, because he is now would have been third. Benzer the lad on top, Royderdal there in second, Erpek there in third. Hope everyone is having a good night, by the way, so far, because there's 4.5 minutes to go, just over that in this session. Benzer, Royderdal, Erpek the top 3. This is looking wide open, I think, in terms of pole position. Nando's just starting up on a run. He's 800ths down in the first sector. He has got a little bit of a toe potentially down the straight, incoming from slower cars on their outlaps. But Nando now coming through the right-hand turn number 4, and he absolutely messes turn 4 up, runs wide. And if that was me, personally, I'd back off that and come back in the pit lane and try and put on a fresh set of soft compound tyres, because he's not improving in this middle sector.
I thought he would have been validated there as well, but yeah, I think he lost about a 10th in that middle sector, not even that. I think he might have lost more if he's not careful, so I won't be surprised if he aborts his run. Yes, he aborts his run, unfortunately, so he's going to go in into the pit lane. Stefano just finishes his lap. He stays in 7th. He does not improve, but he's 7,000 slower than Morborat the pad goat as well. I think there was an interesting debate on Twitter about who is the pad goat, Louis Welsh or Morborat. To be honest, I think they're equally the best. You can't really compare between the two, because they're from two different generations of PS drivers. So I think they're both the pad goats in their own way. Obviously, I think Louis has moved over to Will now, but I won't be surprised if he's gone back to pad and being the pad goat he is. But most drivers are heading their way into the pits now. It's time for you to get your predictions on pole position. Let us know in the live chat, who do you think will take top honours? Would it be Benza like he did last week in Vegas? Or would it be the likes of Volakonga, Rydell, Erpet, Tom, or even somebody else?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, I think. We've got Corey as well, not to set a lap time so far. He's bailed back into the pit lane, down in 20th position. Finding it a little bit tough, actually, is the former VSL man out on track there. Rotterdam and Tom are the first out on track. Dare I say it, we haven't had an illegal blocking penalty yet, but that will probably happen towards the end of these outlaps. I would expect an illegal blocking penalty to be had. We had one in F2, and definitely, I think, going to be the case. Ross Green on saying Padgo, don't remember Liam Bowman racing PSF1. Yeah, and there you go. There's your illegal blocking penalty. Cameron Dowds, 5 plays penalties for illegal blocking. Restart definitely needed. But Ross, by the way, speaking of Padgo, he was actually driving in WR Console Tier 1. I will not mention the league, but he raced on pad there and actually finished within, I think, the top 5 in the end. So real good showing. But I want to throw my hat into the ring as being the pad goat because I finished second in the League of Europe Division 4. Not necessarily as high a tier as this, but you never know.
Yeah, and I if I was to race on... excuse me. If I was to race on a pad, I would probably die. That's why I race on the wheel, not on a pad. But yeah, some interesting debates about the pad go. It's nice to see we brought that debate up. But I think since obviously Byron is now in charge of our social with Connor's help as well, it's really vitalised the PSGL Twitter chat for quite a bit now. So yeah, we always like that debate, and we can't wait to see that debate continue. We're about to get underway for the final 1 minute and 20 seconds of qualifying. We've got Benza out there on top, Volakonga in second. Benza currently has the fastest middle sector, and we've got Cameron Dow's fastest final sector. Couldn't quite see who got the fastest first sector, but I think the first sector is quite close out of anyone so far, as Ryan has got a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. So yeah, that's definitely going to be a restart there. But let's watch Ryan Dow, as he's going to be one of the first people, I believe, to set a lap in this final part of qualifying. He's looking quite good so far. Has been the most consistent, but he likes Austria.
No.
And he's backed off as I said that, so commentators curse. Here goes Tom. Let's see if he's going to be improving on his lap of 59 in the first sector, so he is not improving at all. So unless he has miraculous middle sector, unfortunately, it may not be pole position for the Mercedes driver.
Wow.
44.1 middle sector. That is not a purple, but it is definitely an improvement from what we've seen before. I think his teammate. Oh, something's happened in the background. Tom's invalidated.
Tom got blocked by a Haas coming through the final corner, and that was, I think, Stefano just on his run. So Tom is not going to get another chance. He was improving through that middle sector. That is a given penalty, I think, for Stefano. He was right on the racing line as well. Coming through turn number 9. Such a shame. Benz is back in the pit lane, as you mentioned there, Jess. Volakonga down in the first sector. Jerona's improved to third. Cameron Dowds there going into fourth. Rotterdam has crashed as well, coming through turn number 1 after invalidating his lap. But Erpek is looking good. Erpek was quicker than Tom in the middle sector. 44.135 in that middle sector. Let's see the F7 man on the run to line. Wow. He goes quickest. 103.042. It's 5,000th of a second ahead. Volakonga is in the wall, coming out of turn number 5 after making a mistake through there. Jerome is done. Same with Rotterdam. Tom is done as well. Mubarak's got no front wing. Stefano's not improving. Nando's not improving. Anybody else improving? Kazizel goes 6th. Big lap time there from McLaren into P6. He goes in the McLaren. Cameron Dowds there, down in 7th. Looks like I think everyone has done. Francesco's the only one out there. He's down though in the middle sector. 44.3. Nowhere near what we've seen with
he's not
improving. The Alpine on the run to the line. He goes 18th. He does improve actually his lap time, but not improving his position. Erpek they're out on top. Benza in second. Volakonga in third. What could have been though for Tom? He's down in 11th in the end. Stefano in 13th. Stewards are definitely going to have a look at that blocking.
Yeah, I think the stewards are going to be looking at quite a lot of things during that qualifying session, but it is Erpek that could take the championship lead tonight if he wins this one, and he's definitely put the lap of dreams. 5,000th of a second separating Erpek and Benza, your top 2. And Volakonga in third as well. It's still quite close. And by the way, just to put into perspective, Top 19 drivers separated by less than 0.4 of a second, James. Welcome to PSGL PSF1.
Yeah, Joel's certainly going to be tuning in for PSF1, I think, a little bit longer. But look at that. Top 8 are covered by 900ths of a second. If that is not an impetus to watch this race, let's find out. Erpek Noad on top, from Benza there in second, Volokongan there in third. Fantastic lap times by all of them. Of course, we do have that 5-place grid penalty for Kemendans. That will get removed. Wiener, by the way, back in fourth. The Austrian, the only Austrian in the field, they're in fourth. Jeroen there in fifth, Kazizel sixth, Cameron Dowd seventh, and rallying there in eighth. Rolls ran off the top 10. And it's Tom, Mubarak, Stefano, Nando, Ryan top 15. Again, that 5-second penalty will get removed. Marlon, Keki, Francesco, Stefano, and then Corey, the final driver out on track. And yeah, as you mentioned there, Jess, less than 4/10 of a second covering the 19 drivers. But while we get our illegal blocking scenario sorted out and looks very overcast on track, let's go for a word from our sponsors from GTMA.
Welcome back to PSGL PSF1, and whilst we wait for a lobby restart, we got to have a look at what happened in qualifying. Erpek put the lap of dreams to take pole position, and Benza, your top 2 as well. Erpek, don't forget, started in PSF1 only this season. He was your F2 champion, definitely coming on leaps and bounds. The skill gap is pretty much very, very close between the two tiers as well. He's definitely holding his own as well, just like we saw Jerry Van Bussel last season when he was in PSF2 the season before.
Yeah, I think Erpek has really grown as a driver, but by the way, your camera's not showing on the screen. It's replaced by an Elgato screen. So
oh, okay, that's weird. Let me fix that.
That is a weird one. That is a complete weird one. But yeah, Erpek, back to him. I think he's really grown as a driver. I think F7R took him under his wing. Of course, formerly of NLR, of course, back in the day. And I think both teams have taken him under his wing and really helped him improve as a driver. And we're seeing now the real reward that has come from all of that preparation, all of that real practice that goes into being a sim racing driver. Erpek there being out on top. But in the end, really close in terms of qualifying. I mean, Benza there in second, very, very close in behind. As I said, 4-man coming into tonight, 5,000ths of a second covering him. And then Volokongan add him into third as well. Mr. Consistency himself here in PSF1. Only 300ths of a second covering the top 3. All to play for going into the Austrian Grand Prix. And hopefully we get rewarded. Like PSF2 was rewarded earlier on with a very good race. Hopefully PSF1 is exactly the same, maybe even a little bit better.
Yes, and I think, who knows, we could see some rain. I haven't heard any complaints about any weather changes, so I think it's going to stay dry for the entire race, which I think some drivers are aware about. Hopefully you can see my camera now on screen, lovely people, but it'll be good to get your prediction in the chat as well. But there's certain drivers that just didn't manage to improve on their lap times. We saw Corey struggling a little bit there. Tom struggled a little bit, but of course not too worried about Tom because he's used to climbing his way back up from last to near the front anyway as well. Obviously Ryan struggling. Markados, I think, was one of the biggest shocks going into this qualifying session. I wasn't expecting to be where he was as well. So I think some big names up near the bottom, and it's just a huge shame to see those. But some huge surprises as well. Who knows? I still think we could see some surprise on who we think is going to win. I think the driver that's got pole is not going to win this one. I really do, because the tyre and the slipstream is just so huge around Austria.
Yeah, it's not like Monaco where you can get away with it and qualifying on pole position and get away with it there. It's such a unique track, I think, Austria. It really promotes overtaking. It promotes a lot of great racing throughout as well. And I think we are going to see somebody from further down the field come in. Cameron Dowds, maybe, just throwing my prediction out there in P7. Nando, I think, is an interesting one from P14. I think he's definitely one to watch out for around here. Same with Marcados further down the field in 10th. Tom, after getting blocked by Stefano, that's a talking point from qualifying. I'm sure there'll be a penalty given potentially to Stefano. Stefano will argue, though, that he didn't see him coming in as wing mirrors, and it's so fast coming through turn number 9. I can understand his argument, but, and again, he was on the racing line, so I think potentially a penalty coming his way. But Urvek being out on top, I think, is a good thing. But, of course, with the overcast conditions that I think this race is going to begin off with, it looks like it is going to be put on overcast for the entirety of the race. So we're not going to see any wet compounder tyres, which is good. But what we will see, though, is potentially a difference in strategies. Now, with it being overcast, I would assume everyone will start on a set of hard compounder tyres, last for around 18, 19 laps into the race, and then put in for a set of mediums. It's my strategy around here. It is the sim racing strategy, quite literally around here as well. But if drivers do want to, and I mentioned this earlier on in the F2 chat, it could be viable for drivers to go on a set of softs, hit in around lap 13, lap 14 if we can make it that far, and then go on to a set of mediums. I've seen 23, 24 laps mediums work on this track before. Whether or not the drivers can actually make it work here tonight is a different thing.
Well, I've tried that in Austria and it didn't last long for me, but that's because I'm one who's best suited in the commentary box rather than racing. But yeah, the mediums for them can last really, really long around here. But casting our minds back to, I think, season 34, where we had Austria round number 5, believe it or not, it was. So same number of rounds. Coincidence? I don't know. But it started off lap number 1, there was absolute chaos, then it turned to a safety car, and then we saw some drivers who was on, I think, either a set of the hard compounder tyres, then went on to a set of mediums as well. They were able to climb their way through the field and then put onto another set of mediums for the end because they've already used a set of hards, so they don't have to use a set of hards again, so they could have gone on to mediums. I think we could see the same again if we get a safety car on that one. But please, guys, in PSGL, we hope to not receive a safety car lap 1 because otherwise it'll be chaos. But at least it changes up the strategy a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely does. Drivers already up, by the way, in the lobby, which is always good to see. And that means everyone is now going to be on tender hooks, getting the popcorn out, I'm sure, for this great race that we're going to have, of course, here in Austria. I've been told as well that it is going to be a dry race. It is going to be overcast for the entirety of the race, so it means drivers will have that in mind, will have the strategy in mind, and will also have a lot of ERS and DRS management in mind as well. But it's going to be interesting. Opec there out on top, Benza there in second, 2 Italians at the top end of the field. We've got the homeboy Hero and Wiener starting P4, Volokongen separating those, Cameron Dowd in 7th, Kazizel in 6th. Anybody could still win this race. Could we see a last to first from VSR Curry and follow in the footsteps of Tom from last season? Time will only tell. What I can guarantee you, though, hopefully, is some really good racing out on track, some really good racing out on track, some really good action as well up and down the field, and hopefully we can deliver for you guys as the viewers in terms of the racing out on track tonight.
Yes, luckily the drivers have loaded in to the session and going to be setting their tyres very, very shortly. So well done to the drivers for getting ready ever so quickly. It's pretty much half past in the UK, so it won't be that long before you guys get to be treated to some lovely action, just like you have since Thursday around Austria when PC stepped foot to Austria for the first time last week, and that was an absolute cracker there as well. So I expect it to be an absolute cracker too as well. Let us know in the chat who do you think is going to be winning this one as well. We had quite a few people that predicted the pole sitter correctly. I wonder if you're going to get the same for the race as well. I'm sure there'll be a few people cheering on for their esports compatriots very, very soon too. And it'll be a bit of a while before they get going because the tier coordinator will allow people to get their setups ready and then their strategy. I hope the drivers do remember their setup because I've seen it before in races like this when if they forget setup, that could make the difference whether you win or even lose the race.
Yeah, it's going to be really important. I think hopefully the drivers have remained their setups. I think Ryan is normally the person that gives the go-ahead in the chat, certainly in terms of seeing when the drivers are going to go. I believe we're going to get going probably around 33 or 34, so probably in about a minute or two's time. Let us know, though, in the comment section right now who you are thinking for pole position, for pole position, for the race win even, and who you are thinking could be the shock after this race. I'm going to put my head on the line. Cameron Dowds for the win. I'm going to continue that factor throughout, and I'm going to say Nando, the one to watch out for further down the field.
Nando, that is a good shot. Nando has won a race this season before around Hungary, and we've had 4 different race winners so far this season. Will we get a 5th, or will we see a first repeat winner of the season? I'm going to make a prediction. I think we're going to see a 5th different winner. I don't know who it's going to be, but I think it'd be a shocker. Has Volakongan won this season yet? I don't think he has. I'm going to be bold and go Volakongan here, but we are about to get underway. I am starting to see what tyres people are starting to pit by getting a glimpse of the pit lane, which is quite difficult for me to see currently as well. And Liam saying in the chat, James, that's a bold prediction. Masibala saying Keke clear, and Matteo saying Keke will win. I don't know if he's even racing. Yes, he is racing. Can't remember where he's starting on the top of my head, but you never know. 18th, but like we were saying, we had someone start from near the back before to win the race, so no prediction is silly. We've got some good predictions here. Have we had the all clear from Ryan yet in the chat?
Not quite. Corey has mentioned, I'm not going to repeat what he said in the Discord, but drivers are needing a break, let's just say, before we get going out on track.
Wow,
it is quite funny what they're
I think I know what you mean now.
Yeah, drivers are, let's just say, try to hold it in. Let's hope they don't. Let's hope that they do actually. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to dig myself out of this one, hopefully. But Liam mentioned that's a bold prediction. Bold is my middle name. Bold is quite literally my middle name, and hopefully we get to see some really interesting action out on track. Keke will cook saying answer there as well. Matthias Carper there in the chat saying Keke will win. Keke definitely going to be watching out for. Ryan is mentioning all right boys in the chat, so I'm guessing it's now 35 past here in the UK, so I'm guessing we are now good to go in terms of the racing out on track. So we should get the 30-second countdown on very soon indeed.
Yeah, 30 seconds will be coming on our way shortly, but we can't see the 30-second countdown because it doesn't have that on the F123 game. So, final chance to plug in our sponsors, but we'll do that in just a minute as we are about to get underway for the 5 red lights. And it is action in a PSGL PSF1, and the timing tower's not showing. There we go. Zerpek gets a very good start. So does Bender, but he's under pressure from Volakongan. Up the inside goes to McLaren and Wiener, who's had probably the best start out of anyone. Passing to turn 2. Everyone's made it through cleanly in turn 1 so far, which is a lot better than last season, let's just say. Now heading towards turn 3. This is where we've seen people make a huge lot of risk through here as well. A lot of squirmies from, I think, one of the Ferrari drivers. I think that's more Burak in the background, but he stays in 10th position. But we've got Erpek out on top, Bender in 2nd, Wiener in 3rd, Volakongan in 4th. We've got Cameron Dowson already and trying to go side by side through 4 as well, as I think it looks like Jerome is ahead of Cameron Downs, but isn't able to get past Cameron Downs. So Cameron Downs is in an Red Bull sandwich right now currently, but it is Erpek that leads by 0.6 of a second, which I have to say is quite crazy with this grid, but so far, all clean, touch wood.
Yeah, so far all clean, and Mubarak's just got a beautiful move done on Rotterdam through turn 9. Good stuff on the brakes there from him. And he's into 9 and is really coming alive. Nando and Marlon, by the way, had a collision coming through turn number 3, I think it was, at the top of the hill. Got away with it. Nando there in 13th, Marlon there in 15th. He's just overtaken Ryan on that first lap there as well. But they're really come up the hill. Now in towards turn number 2, really on the power now as they come up the hill. In towards Remus at turn number 3. Rotterdam looking for a move on the back. Rotterdam rallying there in the background as well, just coming on the back of Cameron Dowds. And Mubarak is literally the rash that will never go away. The Ferrari is right on the back for rally, and he has made a fantastic start in this race, as is Nando, who's going side by side with Tom to the inside line and towards turn number 4. Tom will hold the position, I think, for now. Nando might get the switch back. He does get a very good switchback coming out of turn 4, but Tom shuts the door on him. Mercedes and Ferrari hate each other around this track. Tom proving that point. Tom there in 13th, and that's Marlon and Ryan again fighting through the same part of the track as they did in the first lap. Marlon there remaining in 15th, and pretty much hardly any changes again throughout the field. It's Urpek that leads, Ben's second, Wiener there in third. Most positions gained though, Jess. Mubarak up 3, most positions lost. Keki down 3.
Yes, everyone is on a set of the hard compounder tyres. No one is opting for the medium, so they are all opting for the same strategy as expected when we were talking about strategies earlier on in the broadcast as well. Bearing in mind, top 10 do score points in a PSGL. First place gets 16 points, and then 10th place gets 1 point. And DRS will be activated now, so we're going to start to see some side-by-side action with the likes of Aurelian and Cameron Dowles. Aurelian looks like he's going to get this job done, but Cameron Dowles is still going to be on the left-hand side through 4, and we'll see if he's got the DRS. I think it's hard to tell through my camera angle, but Aurelian to the right-hand side. A bit of lob tap for the pair of them, but Aurelian eventually does get past Cameron Dowles up into 7th spot. So Aurelian having a really good race so far. Meanwhile, in the midfield, Marlon getting past Stefano through turn 6 up into 14th spot. Everyone's still in one big DRS train as well, and you wouldn't want to be in the middle pack of that DRS train because it's going to be quite difficult to get past unless someone breaks free. So it will be interesting to see what happens there so far. Looking at positions gained, I have to say, great job from Mubarak, as you were saying, gained quite a few positions. Pretty much the top 5 or 6 stayed relatively where they are, apart from obviously Volakonga dropping down quite a bit, but Rena getting quite a bit as well. Obviously top 2 remaining on changed as well, but still a lot to follow, and we could see some turn 3 action once again now.
Yeah, Volakongan was very deep on the brakes there because Izzle and Eurona now side by side as a result of that, in behind the Red Bull and the McLaren side by side down the hill and towards Schlossgold at turn 4. Eurona will try and hang this to the inside line. The Shazoo man against the F7R man, the former relentless man as well on the outside line, but I think Izzle's going to hold the position, and he does. Remains there in P5. Nice race in between them both. Eurona's going to be still there though, coming through the Verth chicane at turns 7 and 8, and then into the Verth curve. But Urpek there leading the way. Bender there in second. Wiener there in third. Fantastic start by everyone. Again, very similar to PSF2 in terms of their start. Very, very clean, very, very consistent. Nobody making contact with each other. This is Austria at its absolute finest. Urpek there leading the way. Benzer there in second. You mentioned, though, Jess, earlier on, that Urpek wants to break free. Benzer has one vision, but he's got one vision behind him now because Wiener is right on the back of him, running up the hill and towards turn number 3. Benzer there in second, making that mistake through the louder curve, and Volakongan is trying to now hunt them down and towards turn number 3. Can't get the job done. And Marcados as well, another one that I said watch out for in the race as Marlon gets very tight to the back of Nando there, and I think he actually gets the job done to the inside line. Nando will fight that back though down the straight and towards turn number 4, and the Ferrari is back alongside and back ahead. So Ferrari 30s into 13. Marlon, I think, giving up that position because of that bit of contact, and still they go side by side and behind. Stefano and Francesco are side by side, and still Nando and Marlon side by side as well, and Marlon retakes place.
Marlon's back up into P13, but Stefano's now under pressure to try and get that position. Nando's struggling a little bit. Nando's lost 2 or 3 places, so I wonder if he's picked up some damage somehow as well. I wonder if he's going to go into the pit lane. Yes, he's going to go into the pit lane.
Right side.
So, yeah, right side, that he's lost a bit of damage, so unfortunately he'll have to go on to a different tyre. So he's the only one that's going to be out of that train, sadly, which is a shame because that was one of our picks for a potential race win, or maybe biggest good surprise, but I think we shouldn't say that. But we got a battle for the lead. Benzer takes the opportunity now to the right-hand side as well. Wiener decides it's best to stay out of it, but Urpek's made a little bit of a mistake, so Wiener could capitalise on it. It's very, very smart from Wiener, but Benzer at the moment takes the race lead. But there's going to be a danger that Urpek's going to lose P2 as well. Wiener to the inside through turn number 4, and he gets P2. What a great move from him, and he is doing really well on his first ever race as a full-time driver in PSGL this season. Of course, he was there last season, but this is a new man, Wiener. I wasn't expecting this sort of pace after what we saw last season. Absolutely incredible job. He's like a revitalised since becoming full-time in PSF1.
He's like a revitalised Michael Schumacher, I think, at this stage. Wiener there in second is doing a fantastic job. Urpek was right on the back of him, though, coming through the final corner there at the Red Bull Mobile curve. But coming across the line, it's lap 7 out of 36. Benta there leading the way. Wiener in second. Opek there in third. By the way, there will be more opportunities for us to breathe in this race. I guarantee you. Hopefully we might get a safety car or two in this race because there's been absolutely frantic action up and down the field. And again, Wiener now on the back of Benta looking to the inside line. Not going to get the job done, but Kazizel, sorry, on the back of Volokongan going to try and get the job done. Two Shizou teammates are side by side down the straight. McLaren and Mercedes in the good old days of Formula 1 around here in Austria. Is the McLaren going to get out on top to the inside line of turn number 4, Schlossgall? Kazizel looks to the inside line, gets the job done. Volokongan there in 5th. That is very fair racing between them both. More fair racing throughout the field as well. Mubarak hanging off the attentions of Marlon. Tom right on the back in the mid-pack. And there could potentially, actually, Jess, be a big split begin to happen. Markedos, Mubarak. It's going to happen around there. 10th, 11th position. If one of them loses DRS to each other, it's game over for everyone else in behind.
Yeah, so they've really got to gain all that time through pretty much the middle sector because it's make or break between the two of them in there as well. And Markedos is doing all he can to stay within it, and then Mubarak is as well. But there's some sectors where they're just struggling for grip, they're just struggling for time, and it might just be their tyre pressures as well. Tyre pressures is very, very different on this year's game as we got a battle for the lead in the background as Wiener gets past as my camera decides to flip between someone else, which is quite weird, but Wiener's up into P1, Benta in P2, Jeroen going side by side with Volokonga down the hill past turn 3, in towards turn 4, Volokonga going to keep the left-hand side line through there as well, and it's like what we saw in 2020, it's a Red Bull versus the Mercedes. Brilliant. It hasn't gone well in real life, but luckily they kept it clean in the game, luckily. Jeroen stayed ahead of Volokonga, and Aurelian is behind Volokongan. Volokongan is now in a Red Bull sandwich. We saw Cameron Downs in a Red Bull sandwich earlier. He's dropped a few places down to 9th, but there's still a lot could happen in this race as we're about to approach lap 9 out of 36. Still plenty of opportunities for people to go for some really nice overtakes. Don't forget, you can check out our title sponsors, GT Omega. 5% off all GT Omega products by using the code PSGL at checkout. I did see someone almost going for the move through turn 1 there. We did see that the PSF too, and we've seen quite a few drivers make it work, so I won't be surprised if we see that here as well. Benda, I don't think he's going to try and go for it there, so might be praying for some DRS chicking. I won't be surprised if we don't see some moves there. A bit of a squirmy from Wiener there at the moment. We do see Volokongan and Aurelian going side by side once more. This time it's Volokongan to the left, and Volokongan just about keeps his P6.
Just about. Former teammates, of course, Aurelian and Volokongan back in the day. Aurelian an F1 Esports Challengers man in 2023 as well. Volokongan really now, really one of those underdog drivers that's really hitting onto the scene here on PlayStation. He's there in 6th position, Mr. Consistency himself in P3 in the championship right now, but Aurelian's going to give him a very, very hard time. Both of them, as I say, formerly in Team Shizou, when they were next to each other. Volokongan and Aurelian do like each other, promise me, but out on track, it's going to get personal between them both, and I'm all for it, because if it continues to be clean, fair racing, I really want to see that, and I really want to see all of this racing happen till the end. But here's Bender again, on the back of Wiener, coming down the straight, in towards turn number 3. I don't think he's going to be enticed, though, by a move in towards turn number 3. Volokongan and Aurelian round 3 potentially is actually Volokongan's going to go for a move around the outside of your own. Oh, and there's a bit of Constantina actually with Kazizel just in front, and Volokongan manages to get a loop around the outside. He's about a quarter of a car length ahead, but Jeroen now fighting back grimly. 18% of EOS at disposal to the inside line at Schlossgall through turn number 4. Volokongan with double the amount of EOS forced out of road, and Jeroen hangs on to P5. Volokongan and P6. That, my friends, is racing in Austria.
Welcome to Austria, where the hills are alive with the sound of music, and this is some great stuff between, I think, this midfield pack as well, and they're all so bunched together. Even Cameron Dow's in the back of this fight as well. All it takes is just for one driver to make a mistake, and again, we will see that Constantino effect as well. So I won't be surprised if we start to see some people saving battery. Have we got a spinner? That is Nando, who's had a moment through to the exit of turn 4 in the background. You can see on our mini-map. It's a shame for him because he was the one who had some right front wing damage, unfortunately. But we could see a change for the lead once again, heading towards turn number 3. But look at this Erpek trying to go for it. Sorry to
What a
cut
move.
you, cut the camera there, but there was just so much going on. Stayed in P2 for now. He was going to challenge once again, but Benz is going to try once more. Through turn 4, he's going to go to his right-hand side. Is he going to keep his line through 4 and 5? Now they get a 5-second penalty. I won't be surprised if he retires the car. Yes, he does. Is Urpek going to get 2 into 1 car? 2 cars into 1 corner. He's going to try at least, but it's going to be very, very difficult indeed. Urpek keeps P2 there.
What is this battle that we are seeing between Urpek and Benz? It's still going to go on up the hill and towards turn 9 at Verth Curve, but it's still absolutely tenderhooks. As you mentioned there, just Nando out of the race. I'm not surprised he's retired after that bit of contact. I think it might have been with Marlon, if I'm not mistaken, from earlier on in the race. Right side on plate damage on the car. Very difficult to recover when everyone is going absolutely hammer and tongs in front and there's no mistakes on the horizon from anyone. Just said that, though. Benz has just made a mistake coming out of turn number 1. Nando's car pulling off to the right-hand side because this will come in at the back of Benza. Benza coming at the back of Urpek. Urpek coming at the back of Wiener. Nearly side-by-side coming through the right-hand return number 3 at Remus. And it is side-by-side actually between Cameron Dowd and Markedos. And how I like to see these two battle. Former PSF3 drivers back in the day in season 30, my first season of commentary, and Markedos is going to try and loop it around the outside of Cameron Dowd at turn number 4, the German and the Scotsman side by side, but Cameron Dowd, the PCF1 podium sitter in Spain, now through he's into P9, Markedos there in 10th. But it's a little bit of deja vu to my first season of commentary back in PSGL between these two battling. I'm all for it. And now, coming into the clutches of both of them, is Rotterdam, because Rotterdam's very slow all of a sudden. And Cameron Dowd and Markedos are like the rash that never goes away.
It's not going to be that long, by the way, before these hard starts degrade a little bit, and who has possibly chosen a setup which helps with their tyre wear, or maybe there's people running a bit too much high tyre pressures here in Austria due to these overcast conditions that we see ourselves into currently at the moment. Urpek may try go for another move once again through turn 3, but I won't be surprised if he saves a bit of battery. I'm just looking at his battery right now. He's hardly used any. He's, I think, around about in the 80s currently. We know hardly used any as well. Same with the likes of Benza. The top 4, I would say, is managing their ERS battery absolutely perfectly. And that is going to come into clutch later on as we got Markedos and Cameron Dowd fighting once again. And apologies, by the way, the camera angle is absolutely rubbish. But Cameron Dowd goes past Markedos, back again up into 9th. Great fighting between the pair of them as there's...
Oh, no!
Markedos has hit the wall. He's out the race. And it's going to be safety car. Yes, safety car deployed. Commentators curse Mr. James Head.
That is so unfortunate. He did everything right, but he got so far wide coming out as everyone's going to be bailing into the pit lane, going onto a set of mediums. What he did there, they were side by side coming through the corner. Markedos has gone, I think, a little bit too quick going into the corner on the outside. Cameron Dowd did give him room on that outside, so fair play to Cameron Dowd. But in the end, it's Markedos' own fault because he's gone so far out wide and got on the mark.
And I think we lost James there for a minute. He might have cut off his end.
Quite literally, as a result of that. Go on.
I think you cut off my end. I'm sorry, but I think you're back now. Carry on.
I think I'm back there. Markedo's actually saying in the chat in Discord, telling Cameron Dowd to learn how to race, which is not the best thing you want to see, I think, from these guys out on track. But for me, certainly, from my camera angle, because I was on board with a wide shot coming out through turn number 6, I don't think Cameron Dowd did anything wrong there. I think Markedos was the one. He basically took too much speed going into the corner. And the way he's took too much speed, he's got caught on that outside curb, caught on the marbles. All of that's just added into one. And unfortunately for him, he's just spun. If there was contact, it's very, very unlucky contact. Didn't deserve to be contact. There might be a penalty coming his way. It'll be very harsh if it is. But Markedos and Cameron Dowd, up until that point, they were fighting tooth and nail, which is what we want to see. They should be both proud of that battle that they had, but unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. As you're muted again.
I think, unfortunately, I was riding on board with Markedos, and I couldn't quite see the action that was happening behind as well. It was quite tight, so unfortunately, we couldn't quite see that, but obviously, when they report it to the stewards, they get a clear indication as to who's at fault, because the drivers have to send their POVs. They can't see it on stream because we see different angles, so the drivers will have to submit their POVs on that one. Marlon has gone into the pit now. Interesting. Not what I would have done. And
I'm speechless. What is he doing?
he's going on to another set. Oh, he's gone on to hards.
Hards? Oh, front wing change. That's what he's getting. Front wing change from Marlon. So I wonder if he's hit somebody underneath the safety car. And if he was, I'm going to have a look at that and see where he was before he came into the pit lane. He was behind Curry, so it might have been him into the back of Curry that has caused that damage. Unfortunately for him, he's in the pit lane. But a set of hard compound tyres must mean just one thing. He hasn't got another set of mediums left.
Yeah, he hasn't got another set of mediums left, unfortunately. But it does mean that those hards could realistically get to the end of the race. So don't count Marlon out just yet, because when those mediums start to die for a lot of these drivers, Marlon will be able to clear the field away, maybe, or will he lose a bit of grip just now? So he may be a bit slow to start with, but he's got to stay within these guys for the rest of the race. But I wonder if Marlon has gone for a harder option, because I swear he started on the hard combinder tyres, so he must have had two set of hards at his disposal. As the safety car is in this lap, as Wiener, who's driven absolutely stellar currently in the McLaren in his first full-time outing this season. And he's passed in towards turn number 8. Let's see how he's going to control this one. The safety car is in. And Wiener is going to go full guns a-blazing. As for the second time tonight, it's action in PSGL, PSF1. And Wiener's restart has been timed to perfection. Or other people have also had some good restarts, with the likes of Mulbert catching up onto Ryderdale as well. But Erpet is also going to try and go all guns a-blazing, heading towards turn 3. Could he get past him? No, he can't. They're all quite close together now, and because of this safety car restart, it's bunched these drivers up a bit more. Mulbert side by side with Aurelian in the middle of turn 3. This is hell breaking loose with this midfield right now. Mulbert has definitely gained the most position.
Oh my
although
God.
it's very close to one of the Haas drivers. I believe that was with Vola Congan and Ryderdale heading towards turn number 4. It's 3 wide. Mulbert is getting boxed in between the Mercedes and the Haas, but it looks like Ryderdale has taken advantage. Mulbert gets past Vola Congan, it looks like. Beautiful for Mulbert. He is having such a good race right now. Don't forget he started on hards, he's on fresh mediums. He can't afford to push on these mediums too much. He's going to have no mediums left by the end of this race.
Yeah, Liam, by the way, saying Ryderdale how? How did Mubarak hold that from being boxed in coming through turn number 6? Marvellous driving, in fact, between both him and the Shazoo man of Vola Congan. Fantastic action to see out on track. And again, they could go once again side by side, run up the hill in towards turn number 3. Somebody that is there was Benza right on the back of Erpek to the outside line in towards turn number 3 at Remus. Tries to go all the way around the outside. Nearly forced up there, as per Verstappen and Leclerc in 2019, but Benza now on the back foot running down the straight. He's using a bit of EIS. He's actually coming back at Erpek in towards turn number 4, trying to turn a negative into a positive. Can he get the job done? I don't think he can. Erpek holds the inside line. He's got 3/4 of the car ahead, and he holds for second for now. And Aurelian and Vola Congan, I did warn they were going side by side again. They are, and Aurelian now ahead of Vola Congan, who is dropping down the field slightly. Still a very good race from his perspective, but Wiener out in front, the homeboy hero leading the halfway stage here in Austria.
I could tell that Wiener has definitely practiced for his home race. He's absolutely flying and almost breaking free of DRS. He's 6 tenths quicker than Erpet currently on this lap, and DRS is enabled. So Erpet is now going to use this to try and close in on the hometown favourite as we head towards the half race distance of this Austrian Grand Prix. And the front guys have driven an amazing job so far. This is looking good for McLaren, by the way, in the Constructors' Championship. McLaren not looking too good since then, on 15 points, I believe. And they could gain a bit more just on one race if they could keep this up. And they're benefiting having a driver like Kazoo on up there as well in terms of experience. As there's quite a lot of action happening in the midfield, James, with Stefano Volakongan. They're trading places once again, and we got the Alpha Romeo also joining in the fun, and we got one of the Alpha Tauris. It's just all hell break loose. Cameron Dowd is now down into 11th, but he wants to have a little bit of a say on who is where in this fight. As Stefano, how on earth did he keep that position? He's doing all he can to try and stay that as well. You won't take a battle because it's all, I don't know where to look at the moment, James.
I honestly don't even know how Volakongan and Stefano are still in this race. Volakongan was forcing Stefano all the way to the grass, coming through in towards turn number 4. Luckily, chose their racing lines just before the corner came up. If not, that could have ended up in absolute disaster. And we would have been saying, well, there was a crash down the straight and it could have been avoided. And for now, it was avoided. But if they continue like that, and if that battle gets a little bit more aggressive, that is going to be very much curtains for both of them in terms of their race. Tom is through on Ryan further down the field, running down the straight once again. Cameron Dowd's looking at the back of Volakongan. Ryan looking at the back of Tom again to the outside line through turn number 4. The Aston Martin trying to sail it all the way around the outside. Mercedes is still there on the inside line now for the outside line at Pirelli curve at turn number 6. Ryan to looking to the inside line. Can the Aston Martin hold it? Tom is just so superior though on those tyres, and that traction is so good. Coming around the outside of turn number 6. Tom through and he's into 14th. Ryan there in 15th, remaining as we are. But Wiener leading the way, Erpek there in 2nd, Benza there in 3rd. If it was me out in front, Wiener, I would have been using up that ERS and try and split out a second of Erpek. You do not want Erpek and Benza behind you, and you do not want Kazizel behind you, certainly, within a second of you, because Wiener is just going to be absolutely trampled upon later on in the race when it comes to ERS and DRS management. But he's holding on very well. If I was him, though, I would have tried and gone for broke and try and strung the field out.
A 10th separating the top 2 right now. They're pretty much even on pace, and that is what we'd like to see between Wiener and Erpek. Bender as well is not that far behind. I have to say the driver that is looking quite good is Jeroen, and also Ryderdale there in the 106.0, same with our race leader Wiener, so they could climb up there. It's just they're trying to get past as well, which is going to be tricky. That is the DRS trains for you on this game, as Ryan is getting past Keke as well, and Francesco is joining in this fight as well. A little bit of a lock-up between those 3 drivers in the background, but at least they're giving us a fight to show for this race as well. We don't just follow the top lot, we follow everyone and everywhere. As long as they have a battle, we will be following them as we approach the halfway stage of this race. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're liking this content at PSGL, and hit that bell if you are new as well. Rena up there on top. Erpek, can he go for another lunge this time? Up the inside. Nope, he's not going to do it this time.
Cameron Dowd up the inside line of Volakongan, though, halfway down the field, 10th and 11th position, both in the same team. Not in the same team, though, out on track. Mercedes and AlphaTauri side by side. Corey is getting into this race as well. He might be on for point all finish. He's there in 12th position, undercut everyone, I think, in the pit stops because of double stacking. And Corey now in P12 is right there or thereabouts. The bot Tsunami, by the way, asking me in the chat, do you think he'll win? His pace right now, Benza, is looking very, very strong. He's there in 3rd on the back of Erpek. He's got 98% of ERS. Erpek has got 97, Wiener's got 97, so they're all very even in terms of the ERS split, because this will just at 1% lower than Benza as well. Benza's looking quick. My fear would be, though, I think he's got a quicker driver ahead of him in Erpek. Erpek is looking very, very good down the straight. And Benza, just saw there, coming in towards turn number 1. Erpek just used up a tiny little bit of pace. And now, is he going to use up more pace on the back of Wiener? Coming up the hill in towards turn number 3 at Remus. Is he going to wait him behind, or is he going to go for the move? Driver's instinct takes over for the inside line and gets the job done. Down in towards turn number 3, but Wiener gets the up and under, and it's going to be side by side down the straight. And Wiener now has got the DRS on Erpek, and Erpek's now going to have to fight this as if he's never fought a battle before. And Benza looks to the inside line as well, but Wiener now retakes the lead. Erpek there in 2nd, and Erpek still trying to find a way through if he can, but Wiener there leads. Erpek there in 2nd, Benza there in 3rd. As I was saying there, Benza, my fear would be he's got a quicker driver ahead of him, and that quicker driver is Erpek.
Yeah, Erpek is definitely the quicker driver, but I think don't count out the lights because they're on your own. They've really come on fire here today as well. I think we've just seen massive improvement from drivers that we weren't expecting to be up there, which is great to see, and it's really going to shape up this Drivers' Championship like no end. Who knows? We could see a 5th different winner, and the only man who could stop getting a 5th different winner this season is Erpek. Because don't forget, Erpek run round number 2, he won Qatar, and it looks like he's going to take the lead of Wiener in this lap then, just before he hits turn number 3. And look at this, Bender is on the upper hand as well. He tried to get past Wiener to the right-hand side through turn number 3, almost forced wide. Look at Kazizel there, joining in the fight. This could be 3 right down the hill, heading towards turn number 4. Erpek is absolutely loving this, because 3 of them are going side by side. We've got a yellow flag, that is Marlon that's gone off the circuit. We've got a virtual safety car that's neutralised the field now, but we can breathe now. Erpek leads. Bender gets 2nd place back.
That was an incident, by the way, with Francesco. Francesco's got left side end plate damage on the car in the Alpine. Disappointing from him. Marlon's got no front wing, which is why the VSC has come out on track. I didn't quite see what happened, actually, in the background. I can only assume, because it's a Constantino effect in towards turn number 3. What I think has happened is Marlon's just gone down the inside of Francesco. They've lent on each other coming out of the corner, and therefore both of them spun on the outside curb, and Marlon in the wall, Francesco there in the wall as well. I'm sure the POVs will tell better, but Francesco and Marlon both into the pit lane, both a bit damaged, and Stefano is into the pit lane as well.
Ooh.
Stefano is into the pit lane. I wonder if he hits somebody underneath the VSC as Marlon picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. I wonder if that's his night done, but Stefano is in, and he is onto a set of medium compounded tyres, so that's interesting.
He's going to lose time.
He's miles behind now. He needs a safety car, ideally, to get back in this race.
He needs a safety car, that's for sure. And DRS enabled. He's lost all that time. To be honest, no offence, I don't know how he's going to gain it just by being there. That's probably a worse decision currently, but safety car is in. Well, the VSC has now ended, and Erpek still leads, and we've got the 2 McLarens that almost got Bender there in towards turn 4 and 5. And look at Jeroen. I did say watch out for Jeroen in this race. He is catching like a house on fire, and he's just waiting for all hell to break loose in order for him to make moves. I think he's just being a very patient little man in that Red Bull, and he's hardly used any battery. He's on 94% of ERS, where everybody else pretty much on at the same currently as well. I wonder if the 2 McLarens could work together a little bit there, because don't forget they are teammates after all in the constructors now, who are looking to score some decent points. Kazizel, well, they can't afford to fight too much heading towards turn number 3. I don't think DRS is activated just yet. Bender tries to get the lead from Erpek in towards turn number 3. Doesn't like he's going to get it this time around, but Marina looks like he's going to get P2 off of Bender once again. That, like I said, 3-3 is so powerful. Can any of them take the lead off Erpek? The answer to that is no. Through turn number 4, they're just forced to follow each other through these sections of corners. It is a short track, but it doesn't mean it's an easy track. It's just so hard to overtake at times with this big train. The only ones not in this train are Stefano, who had to pit for no reason, Marlon and Francesco with damage. Everybody else still has a realistic shot of winning this race. And I did say track limits could be a factor. We haven't received any single track limit penalty. Touch wood.
Yeah, we haven't. Marlon's the only penalty that we've had so far, and that, of course, was speeding in the pit lane. Bod Tsunami there saying in the chat, what's happening with Wiener? He's lost so much pace. He has. But there's an element of control, I think, about Wiener right now. He's there in P3. He's got less ERS. But what I think he's going to do is now, with Bender on the back of Erpek looking to get move done, if Wiener gets this job done on the back of Erpek as well, his intention is clear. He wants this race win, and Bender now tries to block Wiener. And this could be OP tactics and maybe a little bit of OP collusion beginning to kick in. We've already had one instance this season about it with Louis Valentin, but Wiener on the back of Erpek now running down the stretch. 3-1 towards Swashko. Not going to end well. How on earth they've got away with that, I do not know. Benton's now getting that done by Kazizel in behind as well. Wiener, though, and Erpek side by side, and Wiener gets the race lead. Erpek there in second, Benton there in third. How on earth that didn't end up in the wall and a safety car being deployed, I do not know. Full credit to everyone for car control there.
To be honest, I don't even know how they ended up like this either, James. I think that is absolute magic. If it was me in the car, I would have ended up in the wall. So fair play to them. That just shows how high caliber a grid that we have here on the top tier of PlayStation. Hopefully many more races to come with that as well. As well, on lap 27 of 36, Wiener still leads, but for how much longer? Urpek could try once again for the race lead. They're just using less battery. They're not even using overtake to try and get past. That's how quick they are currently as well. To the right-hand side, in towards turn number 3. And it's still getting quite overcast up here at the moment, which may find it quite difficult in terms of tyre temperature. Pet to the right-hand side. Oh my God, it's going to be free wide into towards turn 4. Luckily, all of them are keeping it on the road. Bender has lost, I think, quite a few positions. Because of that, he was in second. Now he's in 4th. Wiener's in second now. Urpek takes the lead from Wiener because it's all up into third. And look at your run. Where did he come from? Amazing. Up into 4th through turn 6.
He's literally the silent assassin, I think, right now with Jerome. He's there in 4th. He's doing a fantastic job, and Bender's dropping down the field. Has he got damage? Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Bender's into the pit lane, and that was Cameron Dowd getting the move done on Volakongan just through the camera shot as well. Cameron Dowd sends an absolute half dive bomb to the inside line, gets Volakongan, he's through. Bender must have damage. That retires out the race. It didn't look to me as if he had visible damage. All of that's gone on in the next lap as Cameron Dowd's left the session as well. Hopefully he can get back in.
And we got a first 3-second time penalty.
And Urpek is actually side by side. Oh, and Urpek's disappearing on my end. What is going on here? Urpek's disappearing on my end.
He's all good for me.
To the inside line. Urpek running out wide, coming through turn number 2. Corey's retired from the race as well.
In the pits.
Not sure if there's anything going on, but Urpek side by side with Kazizzle on my end. Not sure if you're seeing anything different, Jess, but Urpek is now in 3rd.
Urpek's 3rd for me. So good. You're all good.
we're on the same key. That's good.
Yeah, because I was a bit worried that we weren't going to be on the same key in qualifying after seeing the blank name in qualifying. But at least we don't get to see that now. But Cameron Dowds has luckily joined the session, but he's dropped down into 11th place. So chance of him getting points are probably next to none at the moment. But you never know, anything can happen. Ryan and Tom, by the way, have gone for a set of soft tyres. And if there's a safety car, that can come in relatively in good nick currently as well. So Wiener out there on top, Cadiddle in second. I wonder if Urpek had a bit of connection issues as well, which caused him to lose a few positions because of that. Because we got a McLaren 1-2 currently, or maybe he was just struggling a little bit there. You never know. Let us know your thoughts in the chat. Who do you think is going to win this one? It's more Borat, another driver to come out of nowhere. He's trying to get past now. Riderdow on the exit, turn 3, downhill towards turn number 4. Riderdow gets the cut back as well. This is the action we want to see right now.
Oh, no!
Contact. Both of them made contact. That's not how you do an overtake there in PSGL. That was very disappointing, unfortunately, but that allows Keke, of all people, to move up into P7. A lot of people were saying Keke will cook. Well, he is cooking in P7.
And I'm just going to throw it out there now. Watch out for the man in P11. OP Stefano is now getting onto the back of all of this that is happening ahead. He is only... off Wiener, 10.3 seconds off the back of Wiener. Once he's on those fresher tyres, he has got absolutely pace to burn. He's going to be burning all of that. Oh, and there's a spinner on the back, and that's Riderdown on the wall. That might be a VSC. It is a VSC. Riderdown spins, coming out of turn 10 at the Red Bull Mobile curve. That is Stefano saving grace, quite literally, I think, in terms of him. Riderdown has to do an extra lap. He is pretty much done, I think, for tonight. This race is unravelled completely in the wrong way. Wiener, though, leading the way. Kazizzle second. Urpek there in 3rd. Jeroen there in 4th. This race, as I say, has fallen to pot slightly, but let's hope the drivers can behave themselves. Let's hope they can get back on the straight and narrow, and let's hope we can get some really good action towards the end of the race as well. But this is a VSC, not a full safety car. As we now get that VSC back underway, Wiener leads Kazizzle second. Urpek there in 3rd, and Riderdahl is on the back of Stefano down towards turn 4, but obviously with that damage, he's not going to get the job done.
Yeah, unfortunately, the damage he's got. He's going to be fast on the straights, Riderdown, but on the corners, he's going to struggle a little bit there as well. So he's probably going to go in into the pit lane. But we got pretty much 6 laps to go of this Austrian Grand Prix. We hope you've all enjoyed it so far. Let's hope these drivers can keep it cleaner currently as well. It's Wiener that could potentially get his first win in PSGL because it's all hasn't won since last season in Qatar with his last race win. Looks like he could get another one, but you never know. He's got to play it really, really cautiously at times and think about this strategy. When was the last time we saw McLaren dominating in Austria? I think it was around about the 90. Was it 98? Or was it swear? It was around 98 as well when they were doing this. And I thought I saw rain on the horizon, but we are not expecting any rain here at PSGL as Erpek struggling a little bit for grip, it looks like. I think that was connection again.
It was. I thought he was going to hit the back of Kazizel, and then his connection just kicked back in just slightly. But Erpek's connection is all over the place. It's literally me having a heart attack right now in the commentary box. We know they're leading the way. Kazizel second, Erpek there in third. If his connection sorts out, he is a very much dangerous man there in P3 right now. Euron P4, then Stefano Morelli and Keki, Mabak, Bolokongan, Stefano ran off the top 10. By the way, the man that started right at the back of the field is currently, where is he? I'm just trying to spy who it is. Stefano's there in from 19th on the grid. He's up to 5th with a penalty overhanging him. He's doing a fantastic job. Keki's up 10 positions as well from 17th on the grid. Erpek looking to the inside line of Kazizel now on the outside line.
Tom's out
Gets
the
switch
race.
back. Tom is out of the race in the pit lane. So gets away with another VSC or safety car coming the way there. Kazizel though on the back of Wiener. Coming down towards turn number 4, can't get the job done. Wiener, Kazizel, Erpek the top 3. McLaren from Williams. Where have we seen this before? 2014?
I can't remember where he was actually. No, it wasn't 14. It wasn't 14 because Nando was 14th and he retired.
Oh yeah, definitely. But
Stefano get past Wolokongan up tonight.
He does indeed, yeah. Wiener, Kazizel, Erpek top 3, remaining as we are at 33 out of 36 about to begin. Penalties are being picked up by the way as well. Stefano on 3, Molon on 5, Rodadol on 3, Ryan on 3 as well. And the board, Tsunami saying, hope when I get to you, I get these two commentators because they are insane at their job. Thank you so much. Hopefully we do. If you're in PSF1 next week, we'll hold you to that comment.
Oh, look at this. I think we got Erpek almost challenging Kazizel there for P2 once again. And I think there's a lot of people that are going to take a lot of risks in these final few laps as well. We saw some potential issues in PCF2 last week. Let's hope we don't see the same again. But 3 or 4 more laps to decide the winner of this race. This race could get down to the wire here right now, and this is going to be very, very exciting as well. And it's going to be Wiener in first, Kazizel second, Erpek in third. And if these guys at the front keep squabbling, who knows? We could see the likes of Stefano, Aurelian and Keke get up there as well. Literally, it's a realistic chance for anyone in that DRS train to win this race. Stefano has got that penalty. He said that's not going to help him in the slightest currently. Dirk saying he won't get to podium at least. Well, it is looking likely at the moment. He is saving a bit of battery currently, but you never know with this DRS train because it could launch the attack on Wiener this lap. He's going to go to. He's not even using his battery currently as he makes his way towards turn number 3. He goes to the right-hand apex through 3, but he doesn't go for it right now. He's going to want to get the DRS. Now he's going to use his overtake to fruition, and he's probably going to stop using it now. Is he going to go for a dive bomb towards turn number 4? Nope, he's playing it safe. There's a few drivers that are definitely playing it safe. And Liam saying in the chat, and I'm going to throw this question to you, James, because it's an interesting question. Could we see a plunger? Because these drivers have been on those tyres for 20 laps, this top 8.
Yeah, 20 laps, 21 laps is pretty much around 70-75% range. So it could be possible. There could be 1 or 2, but I think drivers have managed it very well. With the VSC break that we had a couple of laps ago, I think they're going to get to the end of the race just fine. Wiener, though, leading the way. Coming now through the final corner. Is this the bid for glory for the homeboy hero as he now goes? 5 tenths clear coming across the line. Kazizel, though, is threatening them. On the back up towards turn 1 at the louder curve. Erpek is right there. Euron right there. F7L Stefano right there. The rallying right there as well. Looks like it could be 6 or 7 for the lead here as Erpek's now on the back of Kazizel. Kazizel getting the block on Wiener, and Erpek not happy with that. Oh, and he goes inside of Euron. Not sure if there's a connection issue here, and Erpek's forced out wide completely. Euron now in third, Stefano in fourth, Erpek there in fifth. That's more to do with his connection than actual physical contact.
Yeah.
And running in there, now on the back of him, running down the straight, the Red Bull and the Williams are side by side, and the Alfa Romeo Stefano hits the back of Jeroen, I think that was. I'm not sure if there was a little bit of contact in that. It looked like it to me. Stefano, though, was round Jeroen there, leaving him short of room. Was that just too deep on the brakes there for Stefano? I think it might have been. But Wiener leading the way. Kazizel in second. But Wiener has a huge mistake coming out of the Verth curve at turn 7 and 8. Now into the Verth curve at turn 9. Wiener leads, Kazizel second, you roll in for P3. Take it away, Jess. Final lap of the race.
Grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a great last lap of the century here in PSGL PSF1. Who's going to win this one? We'll have to wait and see. And looks like there's a little bit of lag going on. Hopefully it's not a bit of desync. That here comes Cadillo. He's going to go to the right-hand side, heading towards turn number 3. Could he take the lead of his teammate? Look at you! To the right-hand side. He was almost going to get both of them, but he couldn't quite do it at this moment in time. But lap 36 and 36, Cadillo still remains on the top. Jeroen to the right-hand side of Wiener. Can he make the move done? Yes, he can. Urpek is having huge connection issues, by the way, which is causing a bit of trouble. And what a move from Urpek. Oh, how did he come from, like, 5th to 2nd? This is probably lobby issues, but if it's not lobby issues, then what a great move that we are seeing currently right now. I'm sure someone who's Jeff can confirm if these are the right position.
Because there's a puncture. See, no, he hasn't. He's weaving. He's weaving. It's fine. I thought he had a puncture. He's coming to the final corner, giving me a heart attack. Kazizel, though, Jess, comes to the line, wins in Austria.
Kazizel wins. Urpek second, and we got the 2 Red Bulls 3rd and 4th, and Keke is in 5th spot, and Stefano in 6th. But Wiener had a bit of an off. He was on for the race victory, and he's dropped down into 10th spot. A shame for him, but excellent job. His first win since Qatar last season.
Yeah, first win since Qatar last season. A fantastic win. He left it like Qatar to the final lap of the race. And all of the misfortunes, I think, that everyone had. Urpek, by the way, I do not know how he's finished second, by the way, in that. He got a fantastic switchback. Coming out of turn number 4, I'm sure the POV issue will suffice. I'm sure we'll upload that later on Twitter. I watched that from his POV, and it looked absolutely brilliant. It was almost the heist of the century from Urpek, but it didn't quite pay off. Kazizel, though, takes the win. Keke is awarded Driver of the Day, awarded by the in-game fans. What a race that was in Austria. Yes, it might have not been clean, but it's PSF1 at the end of the day. We don't expect it to be clean 100% of the time. But a fantastic race in Austria, probably one of the better races of the season as well. But Kazizel, his first win since Qatar last season, takes the race win. Hop, skips, jumps to the top step of the podium. He takes the race win, and that is actually very good news, Jess, for McLaren in terms of their constructors fight.
Yeah, because they can climb their way up in the fight, because they weren't doing well before tonight as well. But I think there's certain teams that haven't done very well, so that is great news for the Woking outfit. By the way, Keke from 17th to 5th. Who said you can't overtake in Austria? Well, Keke has proved that you can. But let's have a look and run through your order then. We got Kazizel out on top, who wins. Urpek in P2. Jeroen in 3rd, and we've got Aurelian, Keke, Stefano, Mulborak, Stefano, Fuller Congdon, and Wiener gets a point. Could have been so much more, but unfortunately that spin costed him there. Then we've got Francesco, Marlon, Cameron Dowles, Ryder Dow, Ryan, and Tom, I think, still gets classified. I might be wrong. No, he doesn't. So our DNFs are Tom, Corey, Bender, Markados, and Nando. So 5 DNFs. And the championship has shaken up a little bit. And I do believe now Urpek has taken the lead of the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, he has Max van der Geest. He's in F2. Max Grohl's partner there, of course, moving to PCF2. He was, 3 points clear, I think, over Urpek coming in tonight. Urpek now taking that P3. Yeah, definitely, I think, getting that race result. But fantastic race in the end. Jeroen is going to be joining us certainly for an interview. I know Kazizel will join us for an interview. He cannot turn us down, does Kazizzle. Never does. I hope he now puts one. Yeah, there we go. He's saying he'll do one. So hopefully we will get Kazizzle and Yaron in. Urpek said no. I think he's very frustrated potentially by the driving standards from that race as well. And I don't blame him, to be honest. I mean, it was a bit topsy-turvy in the second half of that race. First half of the race was absolutely impeccable. Everyone drove fantastically well. We should take that on face value. And of course, Jess, we go into next week at the Temple of Speed in Monza. Gonna be an interesting race once again. And how on earth are the drivers gonna cope with the Temple of Speed? I don't know. You don't know. Everyone tuning in doesn't know. You'll have to tune in next week.
You have to tune in next week and find out, I guess, 8 p.m. UK time. And we know turn number 1 can cause a bit of chaos, but we have seen some great races in PSGL before, so who knows? We will obviously have to wait and see. But yeah, Urpek being a bit deflated after that one. He felt like the win could have been theirs, but Khalil doing well. OP Stefano doing very well in 6th position after starting 13th. Him being on those fresh mediums, we thought it wasn't a good strategy, but he was able to climb his way through the field and catch up to the chain really quickly, which was probably why he was able to get it, because of the squabbling drivers pretty much as well. But are we ready for interviews yet? Yes or no?
We are. Both of them are in the waiting room.
Okie dokie. I will get the interview screen up. There we go. It is up. So feel free to drag them, and over to you, James.
Right, there we go. Well, let's bring them in. Hopefully this all works. Hopefully they can both hear us as well. Well then, guys, fantastic race out on track. We'll speak to, of course, to the race winner in Chizu Kazizzle, his first win since Qatar last season. And Kazizzle, you had to fight for that one. That was a very tough race out on track. First of all, can you hear us? And second of all, what do you make of the race?
Yeah, I can hear. The race, I mean, I was expecting, some sort of tactics going into Austria, because especially DRS so powerful around here. It was at times very close, because obviously the leaders are fighting, which is obviously fair enough. But there are times where I was very close to losing my front wing, because obviously people having to dart from left to right in the braking zone. It's a bit dangerous and a bit scary to be behind, but we ended up getting through the first stint without damage. And from there, it was just try and save ERS, try and keep the engine cool as well, which was a real issue around here, especially being P4 or 5. So you're constantly trying to get out of the slipstream to try and cool your engine down. And yeah, I just started chilling, and then I think the guys ahead just started finding a bit too hard, a bit too early. And I just managed to capitalize, and I'm not going to lie, don't really know how I got to P2, but at some point I just knew I was P2, and I was just like, I just got to hold it. I knew that whoever was second was most likely going to win, so I just tried to hold off everyone as much as possible, which was probably the hardest bit of the race, to be honest, because I can't push 100%, because if I push 100%, I'll lead. So it's all about mind games, basically, trying to make sure you're not too fast but not too slow. And then obviously last lap, I mean, I just had to go for it, to be fair. I think there was cat and mouse going into T3 for DRS, obviously. And then, yeah, I was like, I'm not going to give him all the space in the world, so he will argue that I squeezed him. I mean, I did. I'm not just going to let him go all the way around the outside and just get a good exit. But yeah, I think it was clean. I squeezed him on the curb a little bit, and I got a good exit. And from there, I just got my head down and came across in first. So that's great.
Yeah, it was a fantastic performance, I've got to say, from your perspective. Of course, you're a karter, I think, in real life as well, a 9-time karting champion, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Did any of that experience from real life come into play in the final stage of that race?
To be fair, like I started karting, I was quite late to kart, I was about 11, and I stopped when I was about 16. I've got back into it recently, but all the moves you learn in karting can be transferred over to F1. Obviously, you're driving a bit faster, but for the most part, a lot of the moves you're doing and the confidence, I think a lot of it is confidence when you're going for moves, Do you feel confident in your ability to get on the brakes really late? Or for example, we don't do cat and mouse like we do in this game, but there are definitely like tactics that we do use in karting, which, some people might be like, well, that's not legal, but it doesn't say it's not illegal. So, you carry things over at the end of the day. And I feel like karting definitely does help me. So yeah, you're right to bring it up.
Yeah, those traits, I think, really do carry forward, I've got to say, from karting, obviously into the sim racing world. Not all of it will, but I think the key factors, the key traits will always follow you no matter what you do in life and no matter where you go with it as well, which is really important. And hopefully the viewers obviously get to see that perspective, get to see that you were, of course, doing karting and seeing the real the real composure, I think, that goes into both sim racing and indeed in karting. But congratulations on that race win. Jess, any further thoughts?
Nothing from nothing from me at the moment. And Suzami's asked a question, but I think we already asked that one. If you were actually, no, I'll say that question. Were you expecting to win after qualifying P4 and then you got P2 on the final lap? Were you expecting to win after that?
Well, to be honest, qualifying was a bit of, my banker, if I completed it, would have put me P2 on track at the end of the quali. And
Yeah, we
I
did
knew
point it
hence
out.
that, I made, I'd done a 0.0 second sector split, which was like, I think that was the quickest of the day. So it was very quick. But talking about composure, the composure was not there at the time, and I went a bit wide. But obviously, I can't remember, I could fight P4, P6, something like that. And I just knew that the pace was there for sure after qualifying. And I knew that obviously in F1, anything happens. And I just thought if I keep my front wing clean and I do everything that I need to, I think I got a bit lucky with the VSC as well, to be honest. I feel like everything sort of went my way. And I feel like definitely I was hoping for a podium, but, going into a win after, not performing very well for the last few races is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, that's my question. Shall we move on to your own, James?
Can do. Although there is a marriage proposal for Kazizzle in the chat off Jav. Not sure what he thinks.
Wait, who is it?
Jav.
Jav has said, "Please marry me." So there you go.
God.
No, I'll get the ring tomorrow. Don't worry, we'll sort it out.
Oh yeah.
Give me a Discord message. We'll sort it out.
First PSGL marriage that I think we're going to get here in PSF1. We always like to see it. But in all seriousness, because congratulations on that race win. Temple of Speed next week. How do you think you're going to get on around there?
To be honest, it seems like at the moment my consistency is just not there. So like 1 week I'm like race winning, the next race I'm quite slow. So I'm just gonna do practice because that was the main difference for this week between the last few weeks. I actually spent a lot of time practicing getting the setup to where I wanted it to be. So I feel like if I get the setup to where I want it to be, I feel like why not do 2 in a row.
Yeah, 2 in a row potentially going to be perceivable, I think, at the Temple of Speed. Congratulations, as I say, on that race win. Go and enjoy Eton.
Thank you very much, guys. See you later.
Very welcome indeed. And we can now move on to the man who, in the end, finished in P3. And I'll tell you what, it was a very, very silent, assassin-like drive from the Red Bull man of F7R, Jeroen. Talk us through the closing stage of that race, first and foremost, because you literally came out of nowhere, I think.
Well, I was there for the main part of the race, but just chilling, to be honest, because from the position I was in, I think P4, P5 for the most part. You can't really go for moves and brake late because otherwise you're gonna spin people. So I was just cautious and picked up on others' mistake. Pace was very good, so I was confident in the middle sector, last sector to get close. And in the end it worked out. Almost got P2, but I didn't want to risk it going into turn 6 side by side, so just backed off and took P3.
Yeah, P3 is still a solid result, I think. Considering, where did you start in qualifying, by the way? Where did you qualify?
P5. Yeah, it was a decent lap, but turn 3, I think I lost the 10th, so I messed up pole. But still happy to be up there and fight.
Yeah, it was a solid draw. I mean, you've come on quite a lot as well from even racing in Relentless back in the day, and I'm going to take you on a massive throwback to it right here. From Relentless, obviously, you've grown so much, I think, as a driver. How has that helped you to obviously pick up the podium here in P3, but also be in PSF1, because you have really fought hard, I think, in PSGL to get here?
Oh yeah, I'll start in F6, F4, and then now it's my third season F1. I think the experience is just building a bit more, and I'm also just getting faster, which is the most important part. Just work hard.
Work hard, practice hard, and sweat time trial, I think, is the answer to everything. In terms
Nah, no time
of
trial. No time trial. I hate it.
No time trial? Oh, you're a bit like
I
me
hate
then,
it. I
on
hate
free
it.
mode.
Yeah. Just online lobbies, to be fair. I really hate time trial.
So do
Don't
I.
blame you. Do not Do not blame me at all. Yet, see, there's two of us in the chat. At least I hate time trial, which is good. Jess, though, I'm coming across to you. Any questions?
Yes, Monza, heading into Monza next week, a very difficult track in terms of obviously turn one, but it's another high-speed track like Austria. What are your aims for this one? The same as this week, I guess?
Oh yeah, just to be up there. But I have no idea what my pace is. I've not done a lap there on this game, so we'll just we'll see, practice, and hopefully I can be up there.
That is my question, James, unless you have any others.
No, I'm all out of questions as well. Your own, I know it's late over there. Go and enjoy evening.
Yeah, thanks you. Thanks for commentating.
And thank you.
Very
Congratulations on your
indeed.
results. There we go. So we are about to wrap things up. I don't think we're going to hear from anybody else, because I don't think we're going to hear from Urpek, as you were saying. But
no,
what a race. Austria definitely delivered, and it was great to hear from Kazizl and Jerome. Two different strategies. Both of them worked very well for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it's really fascinating as well to hear that insight from Kazizl. Obviously, him doing karting and those transferable skills, I think, from karting into sim racing, I think really got him through that race, really got him to the position that he was in, got him that race win. Of course, it's not like karting where you're going to be overtaking everyone every 5 seconds. It's not like that here in sim racing.
No.
But Kazizl, I think, has shown some really good attributions there to take forward. And if you are inspired by the likes of Kazizl or by the likes of anybody from PSF1, go down to your local karting track. That's where it might all start for you. If you're at an age where you can get into karting, I think maybe follow in the footsteps of Kazizl, become a 9-time British karting champion, and then take it from there. And there is a role model, quite literally, I think, from sim racing into the real world in Kazizl, from his thoughts. And same with Jeroen as well. Jeroen has really fought hard in PSGL and sim racing to get to where he is. Fantastic to hear from them both. First and third out on track. Maybe an inkling for second for Jeroen, potentially. Urpek might put in a penalty. There might be a couple of penalties coming in and steward reports and what have you. We'll keep you on top of that, of course, next week. But next week, of course, is the Temple of Speed. It is Monza, the second fastest track, quite literally, on the F1 game, behind Las Vegas and the Strip. How
And
do we
Jeddah.
expect, Jess, and Jeddah, can't forget about my lovely fish-shaped track. But Jess, how are we going to see the drivers cope with the Temple of Speed? Because I found around there in my race, curbs are quite deadly.
Yes.
The tyres go off quite hard as well, especially on a set of softs and mediums. So drivers are going to have to be smart, I think, next week.
I think if they were feeling smart with their strategies this week around Austria, I think they have to be even smarter with their strategies this week in the Temple of Speed. And I have to agree with you. Tyre degradation is just so high. You lose so much optimum pace very, very quickly. So it's going to be down to driver skill, really, and strategy in order to make sure who wins this one. And we could see the undercut play into perspective here as well. I won't be surprised if we see some more safety cars this week, but hopefully not as many Stewart reports from what we saw in Las Vegas last week. But yes, we have been commentating on Austria, but we still got some more races coming up this week. That is the end of PSF1. We got Monza on Thursday with PCF2 to F5. Of course, we've got the E-Series on Wednesday at 7 p.m. I can't remember what track it is on the top of my head, so don't ask me. But what we do know is Nathan Richards and Joshua Birch will be taking you through that one. Then we got the PC side on Thursday, and then we got us, of course, James, on Monday at 8 p.m. UK time as we take you through Monza. One final plug for our sponsor, GT Mega. We got these comfy chairs that we're sitting on right now, which has done greatness for my back. 5% off all GT Mega products by using the code PSGL at checkout, or you can click the link in the description. Make sure you like us on this video. Also follow us on our socials at PremierSimGL on Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok. And make sure you follow us on socials as well. But we're going to go and enjoy the rest of our evenings. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evenings as well. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, for the Italian Grand Prix. I almost said Monza Grand Prix, but it's Italian Grand Prix. Have a good evening. We will see you soon. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
flies through on the left-hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.